There are moments in life that divide everything into two chapters, before and after. Most people don't recognize those moments while they're happening. They only understand them years later, when they look back and realize that one conversation, one smile, one unexpected meeting quietly changed the entire direction of their life. Meeting you was that moment for me. Before you, I was focused on moving forward, solving problems, chasing goals, and believing that achievement was the measure of a meaningful life. I thought success was about reaching higher mountains, building bigger things, and proving that impossible ideas could become reality. But you taught me something I couldn't have learned from any book, any accomplishment, or any victory. You showed me that a life filled with purpose means very little if there's no one you truly want to share it with. You didn't change me by asking me to become someone else. You changed me by reminding me of the person I was always capable of becoming. You made me more patient when I wanted to rush. You made me listen when I was ready to speak. You made me appreciate quiet moments in a world that constantly celebrates noise. Somehow, without trying to control me, you gave me a better direction. You also challenged me, and that may be one of the greatest gifts anyone can give another person. You didn't simply agree with everything I said. You questioned my thinking. You encouraged me to see beyond my own perspective. You reminded me that intelligence without compassion is incomplete, that ambition without love becomes empty, and that strength isn't measured by how much weight you can carry alone, but by how willing you are to carry someone else's burdens when they need you. Every dream I've ever pursued required believing in things that didn't yet exist. The future is always built by people who can imagine what others cannot see. But loving you required a different kind of faith. It required trusting another heart with my own. It required accepting uncertainty, embracing vulnerability, and understanding that the greatest risks often bring the greatest rewards. That's a lesson no equation can fully explain, but every heart can understand. Because of you, I celebrate victories differently. Success feels richer because I imagine sharing it with you. Failure feels lighter because I know it doesn't define me in your eyes. The future feels brighter because it no longer belongs to just one person. It belongs to two people choosing every day to believe in each other despite the unknown. You gave ordinary days extraordinary meaning. You reminded me that the most valuable investment isn't measured in money or time alone, but in attention, trust, kindness, and unwavering commitment. Those are the things that create a legacy far greater than anything we could ever build with our hands. If someone asked me what the greatest turning point of my life was, I wouldn't point to an achievement, a milestone, or a breakthrough. I would simply point to the day our paths crossed, because that's the day my future stopped being just a destination and became a journey worth sharing. And if there is one truth I know without hesitation, it is this. The greatest transformation in my life didn't begin with an idea. It began with you. When I think about what I admire most about you, I realize it has very little to do with the things that people usually notice first. Beauty can capture attention, but character captures a lifetime. The world often celebrates appearances because they're easy to see, but the qualities that truly change lives are often invisible. They're revealed in quiet decisions, in small acts of kindness, in moments when no one is watching. That's where I discovered who you really are, and that's where my admiration for you became something far deeper than attraction. I admire the way you treat people. You have an incredible ability to make someone feel seen, even if they've spent their entire day feeling invisible. You listen without rushing to respond. You care without expecting applause. In a culture that often rewards being the loudest voice in the room, you remind me that real influence comes from understanding others before asking to be understood. I admire your strength because it doesn't need to announce itself. So many people think strength means never struggling, never doubting, never feeling pain. But you've shown me that true strength is continuing to move forward even when life becomes difficult. It's choosing hope after disappointment. It's choosing kindness after being hurt. It's choosing to believe that tomorrow can still be better than today, even when today has been incredibly hard. That kind of resilience can't be manufactured. It comes from a heart that refuses to give up. I admire your curiosity. You don't settle for easy answers or comfortable assumptions. You're willing to learn, to grow, to ask questions, and to change your mind when new understanding emerges. That's rare. Progress, whether in technology, science, or relationships, always begins with someone courageous enough to ask, what if there's a better way? You carry that mindset naturally, and it inspires me to keep growing alongside you. Instead of becoming comfortable with who I already am, I admire your humility. No matter how much you accomplish, you never seem to believe you're above anyone else. You celebrate other people's victories as sincerely as your own. You encourage instead of competing. You lift people instead of looking down on them. In a world obsessed with recognition, you've taught me that the people who leave the greatest impact are often the ones least concerned with receiving the credit. And then there's your ability to bring peace into moments that could easily become chaos. When challenges appear, you don't immediately surrender to fear. You remind me that every problem has a solution if we're willing to keep searching for it. That perspective is powerful because it transforms obstacles into opportunities and uncertainty into possibility. It changes not only how situations are faced, but also how people grow through them. Perhaps what I admire most is that you've never tried to be extraordinary for the sake of impressing anyone. You simply choose day after day to be genuine. You choose honesty over convenience, compassion over pride, patience over frustration, and love over fear. Those choices may seem ordinary, but together they create an extraordinary life and an extraordinary person. The more I know you, the more I realize that admiration isn't something that fades with familiarity. It grows stronger because every new chapter reveals another reason to respect you, another reason to appreciate you, and another reason to believe that finding you was one of life's greatest gifts. And that is why, among all the remarkable things this world has to offer, the person I admire most will always be the woman who never stops showing me what true greatness looks like. There comes a point in every meaningful relationship when admiration is no longer enough. Respect is no longer enough. Even love, as powerful as it is, needs something deeper to sustain it. It needs truth. Not the kind of truth we offer when it's comfortable or convenient, but the kind that requires us to lower our defenses and trust another person with the parts of ourselves we've spent years protecting. That's the truth I need you to know today. The truth is that before you, I believed I had to carry everything on my own. I thought strength meant having every answer, solving every problem, and never allowing uncertainty to show. The world often rewards confidence, and over time it's easy to mistake confidence for invincibility. But no one is invincible. Every person, no matter how capable they appear, has moments of doubt, moments of exhaustion, and moments when they quietly wonder if they're enough. Meeting you gave me the courage to stop pretending otherwise. You taught me that vulnerability isn't a weakness to hide from. It's a bridge that connects two hearts in a way nothing else can. It's easy to impress someone with achievements. It's much harder to let someone see your fears, your imperfections, and your unanswered questions. Yet somehow with you, that doesn't feel frightening. It feels freeing. You created a space where I don't have to perform, where I don't have to prove my worth every single day. I can simply be myself, and that is one of the rarest gifts anyone can receive. I also need you to know that loving you has changed the way I think about success. There was a time when I believed success was measured by what could be built, invented, or accomplished. Those things still matter because progress matters. Creating something that improves the future is a worthwhile pursuit. But you've shown me that the greatest achievements aren't always visible on a stage or written in history books. Sometimes the greatest achievement is building a relationship where two people choose honesty over pride, understanding over assumptions, and forgiveness over resentment. The truth is that I don't expect us to be perfect. I don't expect every day to be effortless or every conversation to end in agreement. Growth has never come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them with courage and refusing to let them define the outcome. If we continue choosing each other even on the difficult days, we'll build something stronger than perfection. We'll build resilience, and resilience lasts. There's another truth I've held quietly in my heart. I don't love you because you complete me. I love you because you inspire me to keep becoming a better version of myself. You don't replace my purpose. You strengthen it. You don't stand in the way of my dreams. You remind me why those dreams matter in the first place. Every step toward the future feels more meaningful because I know there's someone beside me who believes not only in what I can achieve, but in who I am when the applause fades and the world grows quiet. So if you ever wonder what this love truly means to me, let there be no uncertainty. It isn't built on fleeting emotions or perfect circumstances. It's built on choice, trust, respect, and a belief that what we are creating together is worth protecting through every season of life. And the one truth I will never stop telling you is this: of all the risks I've ever taken, opening my heart to you will always be the one decision I would make again without a moment of hesitation. If there's one thing I've learned from pursuing ambitious goals, it's that every meaningful journey comes with obstacles. The bigger the dream, the greater the challenges. That's true whether you're building something new, exploring the unknown, or building a life with someone you love. The presence of difficulty doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. In many cases, it means you found something worth fighting for. That's exactly how I see us. I don't believe love is proven when everything is easy. Anyone can smile when life is unfolding exactly as planned. Anyone can speak about forever when there are no storms on the horizon. The true measure of commitment is revealed when expectations are shaken, when misunderstandings arise, when plans change, and when life asks difficult questions. Those are the moments that define whether love is merely a feeling or a decision. And I want you to know that for me, it is always a decision. There will be days when we're tired, days when words don't come out the way we intended, days when the pressures of work, responsibilities, or uncertainty make us quieter than usual. We are human, and being human means we won't always get everything right. But I don't want perfection with you. I want progress. I want the kind of relationship where we keep showing up for each other, even after disagreements, even after disappointments, and even after moments when it would be easier to walk away than to work things through. I choose conversations over silence. I choose understanding over assumptions. I choose forgiveness over keeping score. Every lasting relationship is built not by avoiding mistakes, but by refusing to let those mistakes become permanent walls between two people. We will learn, we will adapt, we will become wiser because every challenge will teach us something valuable if we're willing to listen. I also want you to know that I won't see your difficult moments as burdens. When life becomes heavy for you, I don't want you to carry it alone. If your confidence begins to fade, I'll remind you of your strength. If fear starts to cloud your vision, I'll help you remember the hope that brought us this far. If you stumble, I won't stand at the finish line waiting for you to catch up. I'll walk back, take your hand, and we'll move forward together. That's what partnership means, and I ask for the same honesty from you. Challenge me when I lose perspective. Remind me to slow down when I'm moving too fast. Encourage me when I begin doubting myself. Great partnerships aren't built because one person is always strong. They're built because each person becomes strong when the other needs them most. That's how resilience grows. Not in isolation, but in unity, the future will undoubtedly surprise us. Some chapters will exceed our expectations. Others will test our patience in ways we can't yet imagine. But I refuse to measure our relationship by the number of obstacles we face. I will measure it by the number of times we choose each other despite those obstacles. Because every challenge overcome together becomes another brick in a foundation that no temporary hardship can shake. So when life becomes unpredictable, when the road ahead seems uncertain, or when the world feels louder than our own hearts, remember this one unwavering promise. I will never choose the easier path if it means losing you. I will always choose the path that leads us forward together. When I think about the future, I don't imagine it as something that simply happens to us. I see it as something we create, one decision at a time. Every remarkable achievement begins as an idea, but it only becomes reality through consistent action. Relationships are no different. A beautiful future isn't built by hope alone. It's built through trust, daily effort, shared purpose, and the promises we choose to keep long after the excitement of the beginning has passed. That is why I want to make a promise to you. Not one based on perfection, but one based on unwavering intention. I promise to never stop choosing you. Not just on the easy days when laughter comes naturally and everything feels effortless, but on the difficult days when life demands patience, understanding, and sacrifice. Love isn't something I want to reserve for special occasions. I want it to be present in ordinary mornings, unexpected conversations, long evenings, and quiet moments when no words are necessary. Those are the moments that quietly shape a lifetime together. I promise to respect your dreams deeply as I respect my own. I never want our relationship to become a place where ambition is limited or individuality disappears. Instead, I want it to become the safest place for both of us to dream bigger than we ever could alone. I want to celebrate your victories with genuine joy, encourage you when setbacks appear, and remind you that your potential is never defined by temporary circumstances. Your aspirations matter because you matter. I promise to keep growing. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that commitment means they've reached the finish line. I see commitment as the beginning of an even greater journey. I want to keep learning how to communicate better, how to listen more carefully, how to become more patient, more thoughtful, and more present. Growth isn't something I expect only from you. It's something I expect first from myself. I promise to protect what we build together, not by controlling every outcome because no one can do that, but by protecting our trust, our honesty, and our respect for one another. Those are the foundations that allow everything else to stand. Wealth can change. Circumstances can change. Success can rise and fall. but if trust remains strong, almost anything can be rebuilt. I also promise that no matter how demanding life becomes, I will never allow achievement to replace presence. The world rewards productivity, but the people we love remember something far more important. They remember whether we were truly there. I want you to know that while I will always pursue meaningful goals, I will never lose sight of the greatest purpose of all: building a life where you never have to question your value, your place, or your importance in my heart. Most importantly, I promise that I will never stop believing in us. There will always be new horizons to reach, new lessons to learn, and new chapters waiting to be written. I don't fear the unknown because I know we won't be walking into it alone. Whatever tomorrow brings, we'll meet it with curiosity instead of fear, determination instead of doubt, and love instead of hesitation. So this is the future I choose, this is the promise I gladly make, and this is the life I want to build, where every new sunrise reminds us that our greatest adventure will never be the destination, but the decision to keep moving forward together. As I bring these thoughts to a close, there is one final truth I never want to leave unsaid. Life has a way of becoming loud. There are deadlines to meet, responsibilities to carry, expectations to fulfill, and endless distractions competing for our attention. In the middle of all that noise, even the strongest people can sometimes forget how much they matter. They begin to question their worth. They wonder if they're doing enough, giving enough, or simply enough. If that day ever comes for you, I want these words to be louder than every doubt you will ever hear. Never forget how deeply you are loved, not because of what you accomplish, not because of how perfectly you handle every challenge, not because of how strong you appear when the world is watching. You are loved because of who you are, the kindness in your heart, the courage that carries you through difficult days, the compassion you extend even when no one notices, the honesty you bring into every conversation, the quiet strength that has inspired me more times than I can count. Those are the things that make you extraordinary, and none of them depend on perfection. There will be seasons when life feels uncertain. There will be moments when plans don't unfold the way we imagined. Dreams may take longer than expected. The future may ask us to be patient in ways we never anticipated, but I hope you never mistake temporary circumstances for permanent truths. A difficult chapter is not the end of the story. Every breakthrough in history has come after moments that looked impossible. Every sunrise has followed a night that seemed endless. Hope has always belonged to those willing to keep believing when evidence is still catching up. And when you begin to doubt yourself, borrow my belief in you until your own returns. See yourself through my eyes for just a moment. I don't see your limitations before I see your potential. I don't measure your value by your hardest days. I see a woman whose heart makes people feel safe, whose presence brings peace into chaos, and whose spirit reminds me that greatness is often found in quiet consistency rather than dramatic moments. That version of you is real, even on the days you can't see it yourself. I also hope you remember that love is not something that should make you smaller. Real love expands your world. It gives you the confidence to take risks, the courage to grow, and the freedom to become the fullest version of yourself. If our love does anything less than that, then we should keep learning until it does. I want to be someone who encourages your light to shine brighter, not someone who asks you to dim it for comfort. Years from now, when we look back on everything we've experienced together, the victories that made us celebrate, the challenges that made us stronger, the quiet moments that became unforgettable, I don't think the greatest memory will be any single event. It will be the certainty that through every season we never stop reminding each other of what mattered most. So if you remember only one thing from everything I've shared today, let it be this: no distance, no failure, no passing season, and no uncertainty will ever be powerful enough to erase what is written permanently in my heart. You are and you always will be deeply, completely, and unconditionally loved.